Good morning, traders. This is a trade review for yesterday, the 25th of October. And I just want to point your attention to what I've been showing in the morning analysis, in the analysis, in the reviews, and then the forecast, and then also looking at what I've highlighted on the cover photos of each um, of each analysis. We can see that we pointed out this daily imbalance that we're trading from, and then this was the drawn liquidity. And yesterday we finally tapped it to perfection. I think we actually tapped it perfectly from this high to that high. If I'm not mistaken, it's almost made a double top or relative equal highs. So realistically, then that becomes then the next drawn liquidity for price to. Well, I think maybe just pierced it a little bit, but I do think still price could continue higher. And then we now have. I'm just going to mark this block, but we have that wick as well. But the majority of this area is then I do think that with what we have left or what's next if we are to continue. This is the area that I'm looking for price to reach into. Then if we then just look at yesterday's price action, since it is a day review. So I posted the trade as well on here on my reels yesterday, the long that I took over here. We had a little bit of keyboard notes coming on around here, but the main idea was that this was the Asian lows, I do believe. We traded below the Asian lows, and then at the opening, we had the push towards the upside. So just after Frankfurt open, we traded towards the downside. We traded into this 5 minute block. I'll show you now. We just traded below it, swept these lows as well a little bit, because you can see we have these relative equal lows there as well, which is our sell side liquidity. We then take that out, give an entry pattern on the lower time frames, and we see price continuing towards the upside, really exploding, reaching for that target. And you can see it just reaches it and then it consolidates for the rest of the day. We see it drop lower, consolidating. So for me, I do think it will still be reaching up higher, potentially for this area above. Maybe we see a pullback because that's what you would expect to see, a pullback after price has made this massive push towards the upside. You'd want to expect price to come down and then whatever do whatever it wants to do. But that's not always the case, and we do see price often just respecting the closest imbalance and then it reacts further towards the upside. So I don't have a conviction or a prediction on whether it's going up or down. I just know that we have this drawn liquidity. So whenever things on this time frame or the lower time frame, 15 or 5 minute, aligns to see price going up higher, then obviously we take the long and we trade it towards the upside. We also have some sell side liquidity down here below. So we could expect price to also sweep this low and then trade towards the upside. So there's a few things that we could look at. Now, okay, in terms of just quickly yesterday's review, so Asian session ended around there. Well, the area that we look at ended around there. So this was our Asian high, Asian low, something like this. That was the area we kind of paid attention to. We see price traded below the Asian low, and then it also swept these relative equal lows. And then having the objective in mind that the daily objective is still towards the upside, and we have all of this trendline liquidity, it's kind of a really clear sign that price could be trading towards the upside. We can also just see the mitigations, how price has almost tapped this area but filled the imbalance, so we can just mark that imbalance as well. Reacted off of it by sweeping liquidity towards the downside, then trading higher, again breaking structure, all the way going towards the upside. So the trend bullish, and we just follow that bullish continuations, and that's then where we got this setup. In terms of a New York setup, that was London session. So if we look at the New York session, a little bit tricky. I'm not sure where to look for a trade, but I think the golden rule for me is always to wait for price to sweep sell side liquidity, sweep previous sell side liquidity if we're going long. So there we had a low, we made a low, we reacted off of this block. which could give the impression or the indication that price is going to react off of this area and go higher. But we didn't, and we did kind of sweep a previous low as well. So, in all honesty, this would have been I would say, a valid trade for me because it kind of ticks the boxes. It broke structure, left imbalance. Um, yeah, so if we did that, you did a 3R, you would have been fine. But anything more would have been out at break even or a loss. But then if we see price then made another sweep, because we know price really sweeps sell side liquidity before going higher, it makes another sweeps and then it taps into this little area right over here. We'll check now on the lower time frames, but I'm not sure what that is, if that is indeed something worth. No, it's not really something. So potentially price dips into it, and then you create this area. Now from this area, after we break significant structure, we break this structure, then you would expect price to make the pullback and then continue up. But you see price was just in a hurry and there was no entry. So there was no entry for me personally, I do think, in the New York session for a trade towards the upside. And we just see the rally up. Price hits the target, accumulates, and then we see the pullback, and then our price is just ranging again. So if we just quickly have a look at where is, so there we have, let me get that right. Oh, I'm in the lower time frame, that's why it looks strange. So we have a rather bigger Asian session, and we're still in the Asian session. So when we see that we're still trading in the Asian session, we just kind of do nothing. Kind of have to just wait. We can note that we have the sell side liquidity and we have our buy side liquidity. We have that marked out on both ends, so we know where price will be trading to next. It will definitely trade to either the upside or the downside. So we have a 50-50% chance in terms of probabilities because there's only two options, two outcomes. Now, looking at price going towards the upside, we have this area reacting off of the imbalance. That's just important to note as well. This level is reacting off of the imbalance, and we can see price kind of breaking structure. Not really. I don't know. Maybe this is just a sweep. So there's a little bit of confusion right now. So if we look at the 5-minute, we're only seeing trendline liquidity forming over here. We're not seeing price expanding towards the upside and really just moving away. And towards the downside, we see now price breaking below this low. And then maybe reacting off of this little area right over here. Not sure. So the high time frame buys for me are still bullish, but if we just again look at the daily, we could absolutely expect price to make a deeper pullback inside this previous daily candle. That would kind of be the expectation if we see a pullback and then a continuation. So I'm not seeing anything 100% clear for London session. So if you compare yesterday to today, yesterday we had a little bit clearer structure and price just gave clearer opportunities in this area. By the way, let's quickly have a look at that lower time frame entry here. Missed my spot. Here it is. Okay, so we know we have the session opening. We have this little block that was the basing zone. It was 50% of that area. When do I do 50%? When do I not do it? Well, when it's a real sizable candle and I see price dip into it and it's at the 50% and we're rejecting at the 50%, then I take the trade. We failed to respect this area. You can see we traded above it, and that was the key to take the trade. We consolidated a bit, as I said in the video as well. I said it, but I didn't show it. I was away from the charts, so this one came back to entry and then just continued to take profit. So that was kind of the trade breakdown in this area. But you just look at the reel on Instagram if you feel a bit confused. So just looking at price action today, I'm not a 1 minute trader in the terms of following now what's happening on the 1 minute and where's the mitigations, where's the change in trends, all those things. I prefer just looking at the high time frames, 5 minute lowest, and then look at what price is doing on this time frame. Where is it reacting off of? Where could it be trading to, and so on. So currently, I don't see the same. Currently, maybe later I'll see some more clarity, but now I'm not seeing as much clarity. We did see a little sweep of this high. We did see some structural breaks. So I do see the possibility of price trading lower. So we could have something like this where price trades to the sell side liquidity lower. So that is an option. Not necessarily 100% sure about it, but that is something. But you can see overall it's very choppy. So all in all, it is a indecisive market with everything that's happening in the UK and all the uncertainty. I do think it's a little bit difficult to trade this right now. So I'm not putting my hopes too much on it. So I have areas, so there's possibilities. I'm not going to place a tool on it, but we have possibilities for shorts, and we then have the possibilities for longs as well. But there's a few things that still sorry needs to happen. So for now, we just need to be observant and patient and waiting for a clear setup. There's nothing clear right now for me because I'm measuring it with the clarity I had yesterday as per today. So you kind of have to wait. Usually after you have this, it's kind of good to sit on the sidelines just a bit and just to see this play out first and see how it develops before you then start executing on ideas. So that is then it for today, guys. That's kind of a review and just an analysis and a forecast, if I might say so. Hope you all have a lovely day and then see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.